I tell him. That's no bull. Then I pull out my wallet to distract him. The sight of money always distracts Thin Tommy, particularly if it is other people's money. It will even distract him through the door of a bank vault. Here is your dough, I remind him. Kindly dump out the beer. Which he does and climbs back on the truck. So long, I call. See you tomorrow. I gotta go back now. One of the cows has a hangover. Thin Tommy stares at me again. By the way, he purrs, speaking of hangovers, what do you feed those two finks you met in my tavern last night? Who? Those two travelling salesmen with the broken down car, he answers. This morning they come in with awful heads and phone a garage. I hear them mumbling and muttering under their bad breaths about a dragon they hatched on your farm. What? I play dumb, but Thin Tommy keeps staring. Yes, they babble about going up to the Old Burg and contacting a circus owner or whatever. They are extremely stencho, I shrug. Are you sure it is not pink elephants they mention? No, it is a dragon. So I merely desire to ask you, of course, Thin Tommy purrs. You do not have such a dragon, of course, I say. Only some drunken cows, he adds. It is a bad time to hear another burp, but I do. And so does everyone else within a mile. Thin Tommy starts his motor and smiles. One of your cows must be calling you, he winks. You better put an ice pack on its forehead. That will make the malted milk cooler. Then he backs his truck out of the yard. I stand there shaking and then lug the beer into the barn. Opening the door, I almost trip over... Yeah. All right. Opening the door, I almost trip over Edgar, who is stooping down. I know, he yips. That's the wicked wizard, isn't it so? Gee, he's a mean-looking ogre. I agree, I come back. But why are you doing a witchel at the door when you should be taking care of Herman? Oh, Herman's all right, says the kid. He's eating. I look. Herman is eating, but definitely. What? The dragon is swallowing down the milk pails I keep in the corner. Also a shovel, a harness, and 2 pitchforks. While I watch, Herman also swallows an orange crate and the rest of the empty beer bottles. He's got a stomach like a furnace, squeals Edgar. Squeals Edgar. Look at the fire coming out of his mouth now. I look. It is a 3-alarm, all right. Smoke and sparks fly out every time he breathes. But Edgar laughs and pets him. And the dragon stops eating long enough to rub up against his leg, nearly knocking the little shaver over. Then he starts to chew the planks in the barn floor. I grab up the beer bottles in a hurry. Quick, I yell. Give him these to chew on. He's liable to eat me out of house and home. This turns out to be almost a fact in the next couple of days, because the dragon keeps right on eating morning, noon, and night. It is a 24-hour day stomach, strictly non-union shop. It eats everything, nails and blankets and boards, and tin cans and barbed wire. And the more it eats, the more it grows. By the 4th day, it is 15 feet long and 8 feet high. This is not a rib on my part, but the honest truth, because I measure it right there in the barn, and I have the yardstick to prove it. That is, I would have the yardstick, only Herman swallows it when I wave it near his head. Then he begins nibbling on the stepladder, so I get down in a hurry. I'll bet. Naturally, I have to watch Herman. Naturally, I have plenty of trouble. To begin with, I have to watch Herman's diet, so that he will not actually chew down the barn itself. More and over, now that he is as big as an elephant, I am plenty worried he will actually outgrow the barn. I do not have any figures handy on the hips and bust measurements of a full-grown dragon, but if he grows this much in 4 or 5 days, what will he look like in a year? What indeed? Pretty terrible, I decide, but I am still waiting to hear from Larry and Archie on their circus proposition, so there is nothing to do but hold down the fort, even if I cannot hold down Herman's appetite. Edgar and I pour beer into him every day, and a lot more at night, so he will go to sleep. It makes him very affectionate, the beer does, which is lucky for us. I can't talk. In fact, it is very quaint. Yeah. In fact, it is very quaint the way Herman gives us the old glad eye when we feed him and rubs up against us. This rubbing up business has a few flaws in it, though, because now he is always knocking us down by mistake, and we keep our distance from his nose so the flames don't give us the old hot foot. But Herman likes us, and he lets Edgar pet him and lead him around. In fact, on the 4th day, Edgar is out in the barn with him and actually climbs up on his back for a ride. So the first thing I know, Edgar is riding the dragon around the backyard. Oh, yeah. I run out in a lather. Quit playing jockey, I holler. Don't you know they can see in from the road? I have to take him out of the barn, Edgar tells me. He just burns a hole in the roof. I look and it is the truth. Herman's breath shoots up in one spot of the barn and gradually burns quite a hole. Take him back in, I order. I will get some sheet iron and patch it up. So Edgar rides the dragon into the barn, and not a bit too soon, because Thin Tommy's truck chugs down the road just then to deliver the daily 24 cases of brew. It is very embarrassing, this business of Thin Tommy's visits. So far I managed to keep both the dragon and the kid out of his range of vision, but it cannot go on forever. More and over, Thin Tommy is still suspicious in spades. He does not understand what I do with all the beer, or what becomes of the empty bottles, so I am hard put to keep his bashed-in schnozzle out of my business. Today, he rattles up and unloads without saying anything, which pleases me. I do not wag my chin in his direction either, but let him haul the beer cases down. Then, right in the middle, he stops and drops a case. He is staring very hard at something on the ground. Oh, shit. I look. What I see is most peculiar. Where is it? It is a big hole, about 15 inches across, sunk in the dirt. It has a sort of web pattern to it. All at once I realize what it is, because I'm really fucking slow. It is one of the footprints left by Herman the dragon when he is out in the yard. What gives? Asks Thin Tommy with a fishy eye. That hole, I suppose. Yeah, says Thin Tommy. Now, do not tell me you are raising giant frogs in your spare time, like the ads say. It is too bad he mentions this, because he kills my alibi. I am just doing a little digging, I tell him. Funny looking hole, he remarks. I've got a funny shovel, I come back. You must have, he grunts. Then he looks up and down, his eye gets fishier. Unholy smokes, he gargles. What's that? Flames are coming out the top of the barn. I am roasting marshmallows, I give out, like a lame prick. Thin Tommy stops. Well, I'll be blasted blue, he predicts. Who is the brat? That is my nephew, Edgar. Edgar, this is Thin Tommy. The ogre, Edgar says. What? Tommy bellows. What? Tommy bellows. I jump in quick. Edgar is a Boy Scout. And we are just roasting marshmallows in the barn. Thin Tommy does not listen to this explanation. He does not glance at the flames anymore, or at the footprint in the ground. He just stares at Edgar and grunts. Your nephew, huh? Never knew you had one. He grunts again. Name's Edgar, huh? Well, pleased to meet ya. Another grunt. Well, I gotta be going, so long. He backs to the truck, climbs in, and roars off. I scratch my noggin. That is funny how he shuts up all of a sudden, I say. Maybe he recognizes you, Edgar. How can he when this is the first time I see him, answers the kid. So I let it go at that.